Just saw New Zealand tops that one.
Sorry, I called your brother out this morning. I said, I called your brother.
Hopefully, couldn't you hear me? 'Cause I'm on a yacht in Italy.
Can't.
No, my voice is not on, but
Good afternoon and welcome to the first half of New Zealand versus Canada in the under-24 men's category. The score being 1-0 to New Zealand. Referees calling up a illegal use of free arm against the New Zealand team. It's giving Canada an opportunity to relieve the pressure that they've felt on their goal line and hopefully get that puck out safely to the corner of the pool underneath their subspin. New Zealand's excellently bringing it out into the open part of the pool, trying to use that central channel to work towards the goal. Lovely work by Canada to deflect this and bring it out to the side of the pool, bring it into the corner. Referees calling a gloving foul against Canada. New Zealand probably going to try to use this opportunity to score, getting on the bottom early. Lovely chip out to the right. Referee's calling a timeout. So currently New Zealand under-24 men's team are second in the league tables, whereas Canada are ninth. New Zealand having won 5 games and lost 1. Canada having won 1 and lost 5. Great attacking by the New Zealand team, keeping it in the central part of the pool. Canada managing to drive that out to the corner underneath their subspin. Canada being one of the few teams having only 8 players at this competition. I mean, it's going to be quite a long and hard competition for them, as their fitness is going to have to be higher than most teams. Most teams bring 12 to a World Championships, playing 10 at a time, and then having 2 rests per game. New Zealand attempted to bring it off the wall at a 45-degree angle, something they do very well. They try and open up the play, and then try and find the gaps in the defence to drive that and get their quick swimmers out into open water. Lovely piece of play here by New Zealand. Laying it back, their backs, trying to cut that angle, but Canada managing to deflect it and attempting to get into the corner. However, unfortunately for Canada, New Zealand managed to get it in the goal. Want to get into this one a bit. That making the score 2-0 to New Zealand. Referees taking a timeout, apparently. Chief match referee warning New Zealand that one player has to get out of the pool. Unsure why. I didn't see the ref call, unfortunately. So Alistair Ford is out for New Zealand for 1 minute. Can Canada capitalise on this 6 versus 5 situation. Hopefully for them they can. Go for a strong push. 4 Canadian players been on the bottom, but unfortunately all seem to have popped up at the same time.
New Zealand's today, 5-2.
Many of these New Zealand boys played in the under-19 team which won gold at Castellon back in 2015. Even 2 players have won elite gold medals back in Quebec last year. So making it a very experienced team.
Do we do the 19? Isn't the 25?
Under 19's won in 2015. I might have got that up there. Who cares?
Sit down, walk away. Sit down, watch the game.
So free puck for Canada on New Zealand's defensive line. Goes straight for goal, low flick. But New Zealand managing to get it secure in the corner. Straight away trying to get that attack down the left-hand wall. Great support by the New Zealand boys here. Canada having an opportunity to cut it back into the centre of the pool, choosing not to, getting that support. Lovely drive. Unfortunately, that flick didn't go all the way through to their players and out to the left. Lovely flick by the Canadian player. Refs have called. Referee timeout being called. Canada putting excellent pressure on New Zealand team here. It being in their third for the last few minutes. New Zealand calling a timeout.
They cheered as if it, but I didn't see a signal. No, come up here, Joe. Yeah, they did.
So Canada having managed to score against New Zealand, making the score 2-1. With 3 minutes and 47 seconds left of this half. This making it quite an interesting game so far. Canada having made the most of their advantage of having one of the New Zealand boys sent out. This could prove to be quite an interesting game. New Zealand boys winning that strike. Got some very fast players. Referees calling a foul against New Zealand. So free puck to Canada in the centre of the pool. Canada flicking it out to the right hand wall, waiting for that support. Kiwi boys having at least 4 on the bottom, making sure there's no chance that Canada can try and get it out into the centre of the pool. Lovely switch by the New Zealand boys. Trying to spread out that Canadian defensive line, find the gaps and use their fast players to swim and make the most ground as possible. Lovely 45-degree angle made by the Kiwi boys there and kept in the centre of the pool. Great drive through. Canada trying to defend against this, but not enough bodies on the bottom. And New Zealand trying to put it up through the back wall. Canada having defended successfully, got it to the corner. Referees have called a goal for New Zealand, making the score 3-1. So 1 minute 30 left of this half. Score being 3-1 to New Zealand. Still quite a close match. We'll see how both teams react to the end of this half. New Zealand winning that strike again. Puck being brought to the side of the pool, underneath the subspin. New Zealand working great in 2s or 3s for them drives at the angles that they seem to be loving during this match. Lovely smash by the New Zealand player. However, refs have called up a, I believe, gloving foul against New Zealand for Canada's free puck with 20 seconds left to go. Great push by Canada, trying to drive up through the left-hand wall. However, under New Zealand's sub-bin, that's going to be pretty tough as they're getting fresh players in. So here's the current league table for the under-24 men's category. Turkey being on 15 points, the same as New Zealand and Great Britain and France. South Africa coming in as 5th, Australia 6th, Italy 7th, Netherlands 8th, Canada 9th, Argentina 10th, and Belgium 11th. So the scoreline's still being quite close here. 3 to New Zealand, 1 to Canada. Canada could still bring this back. All depends how they go into the second half. They're going to have to go in hard and strong, trying to get that first goal of the half, bring the scoreline up. New Zealand playing very aggressively, loving to cut them angles, get their fast players swimming, creating the space, and ultimately getting the goals. So with 30 seconds left of half time, both teams are getting ready for the strike. We'll see if Canada can increase the pressure on the Kiwi boys to try and get that second and third goals to equalise. New Zealand winning that strike. Trying to keep it in the centre of the pool. Lovely work by Canada getting out to the side. Having the numbers on the bottom. Lovely rip by the Kiwi boys. Getting it out into the centre of the pool. Cutting that angle. Using layoffs very effectively to keep retention of the puck. Driving it down to the left-hand corner. Switching it across. Always keeping it centre. And lovely flick into the goal. So that makes the score 4-1 to New Zealand. 1 minute into the second half. New Zealand boys very effectively switching across the pool, looking for that gap, and opening up Canada's back line. New Zealand winning the strike again. Driving up the right hand side. Bit of a body shot on a Canadian player. Great teamwork by the Kiwi boys, recycling well back to the other players. Referees have called a free puck against New Zealand for a headshot. I believe player number 8, Fergus Griffin George, has been sent out for 2 minutes. This giving Canada a free puck in their own third. Hopefully they can make the most of it. Bringing it to their left-hand wall. Trying to open up the play. It's quite risky in their own third, with New Zealand picking up the puck. New Zealand player trying to rip it off the Canadian player who's held onto it very well. Stick infringement against New Zealand. Looks like they've had a warning for this. So Canada are going to have to use their 6 versus 5 situation to their advantage. Try and make the most and gain the most ground as possible as the New Zealand player comes back in 1 minute's time. Canada trying to cut it off the wall, but New Zealand bring it back on till their players are in the correct position for them. Lovely push off the wall, switching it across. Great support by the New Zealand forwards, driving it into the goal bin. New Zealand picking up the pace, really get into the flow of this match. Working great as a team. They know exactly where their forwards are going to be. New Zealand winning the strike again. Lovely dummy by the New Zealand player, trying to drive it through. Referees calling a illegal use of free arm against New Zealand. New Zealand back up to 6 players in the water. Great drive by the 3 New Zealand players. Incredible speed. Great flick. Canada catching the puck, trying to push it back down the back wall to their corner. Try and get it to safety. Referee's calling a barging against New Zealand, relieving a bit of the pressure off Canada. Lovely dummy by New Zealand number 10. Great drive out into the left hand corner. Trying to recycle back out. Referee's calling a free puck against New Zealand, warning a player that he seems to be leaning too much into other players whilst turning. Canada taking the puck out to their right, close to their sub-spin, trying to make the most of them 2 subs that they have. They must be pretty tired now. This morning they played against France, so another tough match for them. Puck staying near their sub-spin. New Zealand breaking through. Canada effectively defending. Ripping the puck off. New Zealand trying to drive it through to the centre of the pool. And that is a goal for New Zealand. New Zealand very effectively using their players. So, goal for Campbell Blake. And New Zealand very effectively putting their players behind the Canadian back line. So once they get that flick through, they can do a lovely swim. A bit of a battle there on the strike. You see the puck hitting the Canadian players' mask from a deflection. Great drive by New Zealand. And I believe that's another goal. No goal. Stick infringement being called against New Zealand. Canada taken out to their left wall. Flick it forward, trying to keep the momentum going. Canadian player trying to stop the New Zealand team from cutting it out at that angle, instead of trying to forcing them to come out at a flatter switch, meaning they're making less ground. Puck now being under the Canadian sub bin. Hopefully they can get some fresh players in, help them try and drive it up the pool. Lovely drive by the New Zealand player. Unfortunately for him, Canadian defence working really well to rip it off and get it off into that corner and onto that wall. Referees calling a foul. It's Stick infringement against New Zealand. Hopefully Canada can make the most of this free puck. It should give them a chance to start a drive and hopefully make the most amount of space possible. Great work by the Canadian defender, smashing it and trying to get it off to that wall. Referee's calling up another foul against Canada for stick infringement, giving a warning for doing so. New Zealand's getting on the bottom very early for this free puck, trying to make the most amount, or take up the most amount of space as possible. Get their players ready. Refs calling up encroachment, or early start for the New Zealand boys, sending one player out for 1 minute. Giving the Canadians a free puck in their third. And New Zealand have taken a timeout. So Dylan Booth has been sent out for 1 minute for this early start on that free puck. He must not have waited for the buzzer to go before having touched the puck. Both teams probably appreciate this timeout, giving them a bit of a breather with 4 minutes left of the second half. Or equal puck in Canada's third. It being driven out onto the far wall. Canada trying to hold it into the corner while New Zealand boys are trying to rip it out and get that flick out. Another referee call for barging against New Zealand. New Zealand going back up to 6 players in 15 seconds. So hopefully Canada can make the most of this advantage. And New Zealand going back up to 6 players. Canada keeping it on their right hand wall, trying to slowly progress up the pool, recycling it very well, making good progress, opening up the play. Lovely swim, lovely recycling. Working really well together. Another referee call against Canada. New Zealand's opening up that pool with a great swim. Canada ripping it off. New Zealand switching it out to the left, getting it off to their forward. Bit of a scramble on Canada's goal. And it looks like New Zealand have scored. No penalty. So, penalty goal to New Zealand. I believe it was for gloving on the goal line. New Zealand winning that strike again. Referee's calling up another foul. Chief match referee calling up encroachment against Canada. With 1 minute left this half. New Zealand going to probably try and get another goal off this free puck. Oh no. Yes. Great chip charge by the New Zealand players. Trying to drive it through the centre, but Canada effectively getting it out to the corner of the pool. Canada smashing it down the back wall. Referees awarding another goal to New Zealand, making the total score 8-1 with 30 seconds left of the game. That goal going to Alistair Ford. And there we go. That's the end of the match. 8-1 to New Zealand. They'll be very happy with that win. So with that score, that will make the standings at New Zealand having won 6 and lost 1. Meaning they will have, I believe, 18 points by the end of today.